The Coinbase ecosystem is buzzing with a lot of news, especially since the new news about acquirement of Echo. The value caught a lot of people's eye, and this triggers and highlights how development is pretty much active. If you are curious on what's going on in the ecosystem, well, stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to Republic Labs YouTube channel. In this video, we will talk about all things Coinbase and Base ecosystem and how the ecosystem is currently pretty much active. So as you can see here, the attention around Coinbase and the Base ecosystem started after the acquirement of Echo. The news was shared across the crypto ecosystem due to its value. As you can see here, Coinbase acquires Echo for $375 million, which is huge, considering currently we are not really in the bull market and this high investment usually caught a lot of people's eye. The acquisition has been confirmed by the CEO of Coinbase himself. As you can see here, Brian Armstrong tweeted that Coinbase has acquired Echo. This triggered a narrative around the internet capital market, essentially letting creators and people invest in early projects. Shan Agrawal also explained the goal behind this acquisition. If you're not familiar who Shan Agrawal is, he is basically the chief business officer of Coinbase. In an interview with Empire, he explained that the goal of this acquisition is to capture the narrative of internet capital market, essentially capturing all narratives in the crypto market. So they want to help and capture the market and value of creators or founders launching their own project and then fundraising and then also translating into sales in the secondary market. This will all make sense in a second because all of the narratives and updates that I'm going to give you today will translate into covering all these three processes. So before we get into things, if you don't know what Echo is basically an early stage investing platform. People can sign up to this platform and create communities, and the community leaders will get a deal of new projects from Echo. If you are not a community leader or just a member, you will only get allocation for the deal if you are accepted in the community and the deal. So it's sort of like a gatekeep platform, essentially having barriers for people to entry. However, currently they have made a new feature. The feature is called Sonar. Sonar is a new platform where the barrier to entry to invest in new projects is lower. So essentially, everyone who signed up and KYC'd can invest in new projects. So currently, Echo is covering all things about early stage investing, from investing in new projects as an investor and launching your own token and fundraising on the platform. This is essentially the narrative of internet capital markets, where people can raise funds and launch their token similar to an IPO process. All of this is done on-chain. However, in the internet capital market narrative, it also translates into tokenization of traditional assets. So it combines the narrative of traditional market and the innovative market of on-chain transactions. Aside from the acquisition of Echo, Coinbase also draws $25 million to revive UpOnly. So if you don't know what UpOnly is, it's basically an NFT collection supporting the podcast of Cobie, which is the creator of Echo. There's assumption that this is part of the deal of the Echo acquirement. However, this also captures another category in crypto, which is SocialFi. As you can see here, the CEO of Coinbase also confirmed the acquisition of UpOnly. As you can see here, he tweeted that the rumors are true. We bought the NFT. UpOnly TV is coming back. So he is reviving the UpOnly TV podcast. This triggered a new narrative that SocialFi is coming back to the Base ecosystem and Coinbase overall. This is because, if you don't know, Base is essentially the blockchain, the layer 2 blockchain created by the people behind Coinbase. So essentially, it connects on-chain transaction through centralized exchanges and decentralized exchanges because of the blockchain. So currently, the narrative of SocialFi will be integrated to finance, since it's not only the social aspect that is being pushed, but also the finance aspect. Currently, there are a couple of projects that is being talked about in the Base ecosystem. The first one is Zora. As you can see here, Zora is similar to Instagram. However, there are financial aspects, such as you can tip people on the platform and transact tokens that represents ownership or support in the creator. Also, Farcaster is one of the biggest SocialFi platform in the crypto market and is currently trending on Base. Another platform that is bringing finance to the SocialFi narrative in Base is Noise. Noise was created around 5 months ago, and it lets you invisibly and immediately send crypto when you like, comment, or follow on your Farcaster feed, essentially bringing the finance aspect in SocialFi. All of this is happening in the Base ecosystem because all of the transaction happens on the Base blockchain. This is part of Coinbase's plan to capture the value of on-chain transactions through centralized exchanges and a centralized ecosystem. As you can see here from the announcement, they stated that millions of assets one Coinbase app. Essentially, all of the transactions on-chain through centralized exchanges or centralized transactions and a centralized ecosystem will be available on the Coinbase app. As you can see here, they stated that all available in the same Coinbase app with DEX trading. So essentially, using Coinbase, you not only transact through centralized platform, but can also access a decentralized ecosystem through Base. The integration of DEX will be helped by Aerodrome. The integration of the DEX will be supported by Aerodrome, one of the most popular DeFi platform in the Base ecosystem. As you can see here, according to DeFi Llama, in terms of TVL or total value locked, it ranks third among other DeFi platforms, trailing below Aave and Morpho. If you are curious on the DeFi activity and the Base ecosystem, you can use DeFi Llama to explore all the DeFi ecosystem and platforms. This list is worth exploring, as currently the DeFi ecosystem in Base is pretty much alive. Aside from that, Base is also integrating with Bitcoin, with more than $100 million in Bitcoin on Base from Coinbase because customers are borrowing USDC on-chain. So essentially, Bitcoin is being used as either collateral or for trading purposes. This has been made easy because first, Coinbase is connected to Base, and also Coinbase has its own wrapped Bitcoin called CBBTC. So, Coinbase is pretty much creating a complete DeFi ecosystem, which is why it is worth exploring now. Aside from that, partnerships are also being formed. The first one is a partnership with Samsung, as Samsung Wallet offers users special access to Coinbase One, which essentially is the Coinbase app. Aside from that, Coinbase has made a deal with Deribit, focusing on derivatives trading. So essentially, Coinbase is trying to capture all things capital market, specifically internet capital market, through tokenization and supporting new projects on-chain. All of this came about after the SEC announced that they are currently focusing on regulating tokenized stocks, allowing stocks to be traded like crypto. If this is approved, then the market potential is huge, which is why Coinbase is trying to be the first mover. Aside from that, the prediction market is also pretty much alive. As you can see here, there are currently two trending prediction markets in the Base ecosystem. The first one is True Markets, and then the second one is Limitless, which has just raised $10 million to expand the decentralized ecosystem. They have also just launched their own token called the LMTS, so there's pretty much a huge attention and potential around it. Aside from that, Base is also exploring a potential of launching their own token. This is because, due to high activity, there are revenues that are not being captured properly because they don't have their own token. Currently, the real economic value of the Base network has surpassed $5 million. Also, the DEX volume is pretty much increasing, reaching close to $2 billion in total volume. To be specified, this total volume is daily volume. So essentially, Coinbase and Base ecosystem is capturing $2 billion in total volume daily. Also, in terms of profit, currently, Base is leading the L2 race, capturing most profits than other L2s. So essentially, the Base ecosystem is pretty much active. And if you want more potential, I suggest you explore all the Base ecosystem, since the token launch might promote you more rewards. Well, that's all the information I have today. If you guys like contents like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you guys are notified when we next upload. And also a disclaimer, this is not official financial advice. So all the risks should be considered by yourself, as we are not responsible. Cheers, guys!